Muses. Welcome to Miss Smart Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today I think we're talking about all my emotions because these are quotes, my favorite quotes. Some of them are famous, some of them are not so famous, some of them I made up myself. I just decided to put my whole collection together. And for those of you watching now or that will watch on the replay, please share in the chat or in the comments one of your favorite quotes and what it teaches you. I live by slogans because that gets me through the day every hour, every few seconds. And it also helps me to cope. It helps me to cope maybe when I come across a situation that's not so happy. And I realize that people have gone before me and recognized what I am going through and perhaps can give me some inspiration. That's a long way of saying that. I think I just said it in the same way, but that's okay because it is Monday night. It is Monday night, and that means Monday musings. I have had a horrible few weeks. So let's be happy. Let's be happy and let's share. Yeah, today was a halfway, somewhat okay, maybe not too bad day, if that makes any sense. I am still dealing with the aftermath of the great flood in my kitchen. And I'm going to be having some designers coming out, some reconstruction. We finally got it all dried out. Oh, what a mess it's been. What a mess it's been. On top of everything else. Well, this is probably the quote of them all, the quote of them all from our very own J.R.R. Tolkien. All we have to decide is what to do with the time given to us. What else is there to say? There's been so much lamenting. I can't believe how bad things are. I can't believe how bad things are. I can't believe, that there's such double standards and all this kind of stuff. And all of it is true. All of it is true. But what are we to do about it? What are we to do about it? Well, we have to decide what to do with the time that is given to us. This is the time that we are in. What are you going to do? But gosh, what are you going to do about it? And look who's here. It is Meteor Tyrone Flip. Our model of optimism in the world. I know what you've been doing with the time given to you. You've been praying to St. Athanasius to bring on the meteor. Well, here he has a quote. He has a quote. It is, there are dreams that must remain in drawers, in vaults, locked away until our end, and therefore likely to be dreamed of a lifetime. Whose quote is that? Let me know. Hello, Teresa. Hello. And look who is here. It is none other than our ancient one. Welcome to Miss Smart Muse's Castle of Roses, our beloved rose in a flower pot that somehow levitates. Oh my gosh. Ancient one. It just hit me. It just hit me. My Castle of Roses, you've used this before. My other namesake, the reason why I spelled Teresa without the H, even though it's English, is Teresa of Avila, and she wrote a masterwork called The Interior Castle, and roses and all of that stuff, and a castle. The roses is a symbol of the little Therese, and the castle for the big Therese. You have just given me an idea. I might have to get myself an artist that can do that properly because Interior Castle is one of my favorite works of all time. It really changed me. And then when you said Castle of Roses, dude, that just really hit me. That hit me right there in the feels. Potato Revan. Hey, yo, Miss Martin saying hi. Sorry, missing past streams. I've been dying sick. I have gastro. Gastrointestinal issues. Well, that sucks. Well, I'm sick too, if that makes you feel better. And how everyone knows how sick I am is when I stay home for Mass. That's when people know I'm not faking, because I'll go to Mass come hell or high water no matter where I am. But I'm really sorry that you're under the weather, and I hope this helps. That's part of what I like to do. I like to distract people, because when I need to be distracted. No worries about missing streams. We all have life. We have things that we have to deal with, unfortunately. I wish I could... I wish I could do lots of stuff. And I missed your Manson thing the other night. I would have loved to have been on that and to, you know, I love it sounds really weird. I love hearing about serial killers. I actually do. They make me feel better. Hey, Teresa, can't stay, but we'll catch the replay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know you're in the future as well as potato rabbit. I do know where Shane is from in Ireland. It's more north than where Potato Rabbit is from. But okay. Hello, Potato Rabbit. Hello. Potato Rabbit says, hey, Meteor. Oh, hey, everyone's saying hello. Look, I also got the flu. Cheers. Or got a flu. Cheers. Oh, that's the language barrier. Feel better. Revenge and Teresa. Yes. RTE has mass every morning at 10 a.m. Irish time, 5 a.m. Eastern time, 4 a.m. Central. Yay. See, that's what you do when you're not feeling well. This week is Zodiac Killer. Oh my gosh. That one's messed up. I honestly can't stay because you have no idea what's going on in my life right now. I'm going to be having designers and stuff, but thank you for the invite. And I will definitely stay tuned because I like talking about serial killers. They it's a lot more pleasant, right? It's a lot more present. All we have to do is decide what to do at the time that is given to us. Watch documentaries about serial killers and watch Potato Ribbon's discussions on serial killers. Brazilian writer Hilda Hist. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Most likely, like a lot of quotes, they sound better in the original language. But, I wouldn't understand it in Portuguese. And Zodiac Killer, that one drives me nuts because technically we didn't catch him. From Jane Austen and Sense and Sensibility. It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. Dun, dun, dun. Sense and Sensibility is an amazing book. Everything by Jane Austen is amazing. The 1995 or 96 adaptation was also amazing. But yes, Jane Austen knew a lot about human nature. It isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. And just like any quote, there's always exceptions. Nothing is absolute, but these quotes get us to think. And what it boils down to, what you do is what defines you. We all think of doing certain things, but do you act on it? That can be a twofold. Like, for example, when I think I want to do something really mean to someone, do I act on it? If I act on it, that says something about me. Same thing about something good. If I'm thinking about doing something good and I don't act on it, that also affects you. Shane Nolan, Emma Thompson won an Oscar for her screenplay adaptation. She did. She did indeed. Back when the movie came out, how old was I? I was about 20, 21. I remember thinking, Alan Rickman. No. But now, oh, hell yes, Alan Rickman as Colonel Brandon. As I've aged, I've appreciated it. When you're younger, you like the other dude, the bad guy. He's cuter. I mean, you don't like him, his character, but I remember thinking, couldn't they have gotten someone a little, I don't know, a little hotter? But now I understand. Now I understand. We love Alan Rickman here at Miss Martin Muses. All right, isn't what we say or think that defines us, but what we do. What is next? William Shakespeare. Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none. I don't know enough about Shakespeare to know where this comes from, but it's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, we should love everyone. And remember, love doesn't necessarily mean we like people, but there is something that we are due to give our fellow man, our fellow humanity love, dignity, respect. I have some quotes about this later. Even your worst enemy, there are certain things you should never do to them. Okay, love all, trust a few. Oh, yes, only trust a few, and do wrong to none. Meteor Advocate has one for me. I went on a strict diet 2 weeks. I lost 14 days. Oh, in 2 weeks, I lost 14 days. Tim, I can't pronounce the last name, Brazilian singer. That's a good one. That is a really good one. Make more never eat the yellow snow. The quote I live by. Yes, please don't. Yes. I think it's from Hamlet. Probably. Most of the ones come from Hamlet. Thank you, Sheen. Ah, indeed, indeed. Oh, this is Albert Einstein. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. Ooh, yeah. That's similar to the only way for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. Along those veins. Hello, Corey Cochran. Hello, everybody. Always good to see you all. And if you have not already, please like, share, and subscribe early and often. And please watch my videos. Though I think I'm going to get to my watch hours by tomorrow morning, actually. I don't want to jinx it, though. Don't want to jinx it, but still watch my videos anyways, because I like to share my thoughts and maybe know that I can help you get through your day. Frodo Baggins, it is useless to meet revenge with revenge. It will heal nothing. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how many times I have told people, and yes, never, 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 never. You also learn at the end of the day, it is people that do acts of revenge. No one likes them. No one likes people that that are vengeful. This one I like a lot, says Timon. If the world is running towards the abyss, step aside and let it pass. At this point, heck yes, heck yes. That's Luis Fernando Verissimo, Brazilian writer. Nice. I like that you're giving me these Brazilian, because these aren't necessarily quotes that I would know. I'd love wisdom from around the world. Congratulations, Trees Watchers. Why, thank you. Thank you very much. It's been quite a pleasure. It means people like to watch things. And I finally have gotten myself into a place in my life where I can dedicate a bit of time. I don't want to jinx myself because the last time I think I said that, then my kitchen flooded. But I still have time in between the kitchen issues. And not only will it not heal anything, it's useless. It's completely useless. Here's my boyfriend. Faramir, I am wise enough to know that there are some perils from which a man must flee. Ah, look how perfect he is. Even though I know he has dark hair in the books, I don't care. I have 2 Faramirs in my life. I have the real one, and then I have the one in the movie, the actor as he's portrayed. But yeah, wise enough to know there are some perils from which a man must flee. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Kind of like the Kenny Rogers song, you got to know when to hold him, know when to fold him, know when to walk away, know when to run. Riker's here. Oh, good pronunciation. Really? I did it? I feel so self-conscious trying to pronounce, well, Norwegian and Portuguese and also Spanish. Nice. Well, thank you. I kind of got it. Nice. Riker 1776. We didn't come for bureaucracy. We didn't come for their views. We don't need their mentality. We don't need their abuse. We never worship the devil. That's just another lie. We just want to have some fun before we die. New favorite. Yeah, that's from a song. Yes. So do I know how many more do I need? Yes, I do. I need to get to mostly monetized. I need 67 to get the full AdSense thing. I still need 1,000 more and some more subs. The thing though is the this monetization with these new rules where you get 3,000 watch hours and 500 subs. That's where I can do memberships, super thanks, super stickers, and super chats. It will be nice, let me put it to you that way, and unless you're a really big channel, uh, you you might make, some money on the AdSense things, but it's from the super chats and things, and because of my situation, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, I am still gainfully employed when I can be with my profession of choice, but I can only do that 2 weeks out of the month. But I'm still fine. I'm just saying it wouldn't hurt. The Gambler, you betcha. It is Orange Hat Reviews. How are ya? Well, I've been better. Actually, I've been horrible. But that's the thing is I have these quotes that help me through things. And as those of you that watch my Sunday show, you know I've got God. I am a daughter of the church. And that kind of keeps me sane when things just go completely to hell. The kitchen was just part of it. The other part is, of course, private. But I'm hanging in there. Thank you for asking. Cool. Yep. 67. I think it I think it's gonna happen. Saxon, we came here to rock. Hello, Orange Chat Review. Salty traveling sea. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Salty's grandpa, darn right. Unless you've abused the privilege, then you need to. Then you have 12 steps waiting on the other end. But that's 12 steps. You know what? You don't have to just be a recovering alcoholic to get something out of the 12 steps. Those 12 steps are good for you. They're based on the spiritual exercises of St. Ignatius, anyways. But yeah, 12 steps, good stuff to live by. What is it? The first step, admitting you have a problem. I don't know what the second step is. I think that's the one about turning yourself over to God or to a higher power. Admitting you were, I'm totally just pulling these out of my butt. Admitting you were wrong and promptly admitted it. All sorts of stuff. A lot of personal responsibility. Making amends unless doing so would like harm others. Good stuff. Good stuff. Look up the 12 steps. It's good for you. Orange Hat. I will send you a quote by Dean Koontz. Yay! From Twilight Eyes. It is too big for the chat, so I'll DM you with it. Oh, well, thank you. Al-Anon is a real deal, too. Oh, yeah. 12 steps work with everything. They work with everything. They've got Al-Anon. They've got, of course, Alcoholics Anonymous is where it started. And then people figured, hey, this works. It works with gambling. It works with online gaming. They now have a gaming version of it. They have OA, Overeaters Anonymous. They have for cigarettes and stuff. It works. I tell you what, there's a reason why it's still the most popular program. And one of the sayings, I use a lot of the sayings from AA. I don't have a drinking problem. I have a thinking problem. Dun, dun, ding, 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 ding. Easy does it. Keep it simple, stupid. I forget what some of the other stuff is. But, they got good slogans. So don't be ashamed. Rip off Alcoholics Anonymous. They're good for you. Yeah, and Al-Anon, that's the one for people that have loved ones that are alcoholics. And they also can tend to be, enablers and codependent. There's a really, really good movie with James Woods. He won an Emmy for it. He played Bill W. Hail chat. Well, hello, Stephen Ransom. We're talking about alcoholism now. Well, no, we're talking 12 steps are great quotes. They got great quotes in there. I use the keep it simple, stupid all the time. I also use the thinking problem, because it doesn't necessarily have to go with drinking. It works with anything. You can have a thinking problem. And that's what gets you into trouble. And I'm not just talking with alcohol, gambling, and all that other stuff. It's how you think. That can be your worst enemy. You got to sort that crap out. Meteor Advocate. This is from what we call bumper wisdom, trucker wisdom. If one day you're going to speak ill of me, call me. I know some terrible things about myself. Ooh. That's a good one. MCU Anonymous is coming soon. Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, That would be more enabling. Oh, that we've got some enabling happening. Look at all the people that think the next Star Wars movie will be okay. It'll solve everything. Like there are 12 steps for that. I should Google those. I should know them. There's a lot of wisdom. Visualize world peace. That's darn right. Star Wars and Star Trek need one too. Yes. Damien Gershwin, hello. From a in real life childhood friend, it's not that I'm right about everything, it's that everyone else insists on being wrong. Nice. All right, let's on its surface the quote sounds smug, but what he meant was that he simply doesn't jump to conclusions as quickly as other people do. Yes, do not jump to conclusions. You got to sit and you got to listen. My other boyfriend, but he's a real person, so actually I need to be careful. He was married. Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, who defended Little Round Top on the second day of Gettysburg, defended the Union flank, the colonel of the 20th Maine. The inspiration of a noble cause enables men to do things they did not dream themselves capable of before. Amen and hallelujah. Look what that dude did. He was freaking Superman. There's another thing also about Joshua Chamberlain I used to use with my peeps. Understand, when you're an orchestra director, you got to perform miracles because you got to get all these people, especially if you're. I've never conducted an adult orchestra. Yeah, the inspiration of noble cause, but there was a saying of his father that inspired him that he said in his notes. Did he do an autobiography or from his biography? I think I read where he and his dad were going along with their little horse and buggy, and there was a big old rock in the middle of the road, and his dad told Joshua Chamberlain, move that rock. And Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain goes, how? And the dad said, move it. That's how. That has been a huge inspiration for me, and it works with classical music. Because Miss said so. You know, give it a try. I promise you. And I always say if it totally falls on its face, I will take the blame. Another one, money doesn't bring happiness, so give me yours and be happy. Two thumbs up, Timon. That's it. Yay, heck yes, Joshua, darn right. The foe is beyond any of you. Yes, yes. He was something else. There were some very, let's just say, interesting personalities in the Civil War. I think that he was a good one. I mean, he's so interesting to me also because he wasn't a soldier. He was a professor of rhetoric. But when he put his mind to something, he did it single-handedly. He did it perfectly. He learned how to be a soldier, and he trained, and they drilled, and they drilled, and they drilled. Just really good stuff. Laura Ingalls Wilder, the real one, not the fake one from the TV show. The real things haven't changed. It is still best to be honest and truthful, to make the most of what we have, to be happy with simple pleasures, and have courage when things go wrong. And you're talking about a woman that knows. If you've ever read The First 4 Years, the book that she never published during her lifetime, it was found after she passed away because she was like, there's no way. No. This is not for kids. The first 4 years of her marriage were hell. Absolute hell. And a great deal of a lot of other parts of her life were, but that was rough. Judge me not by my size, do you? Yoda, sort of, yeah. I just realized one of my favorite quotes from Gustus McCrae I didn't put in there. It's not dying, it's living. Or living, if you have to say it the way it is. It's not dying, it's living. And the other one was, if you want any one thing too much, it's bound to be a disappointment. Yeah. And this is the way Laura Ingalls looked when she was a teacher. She was about, what, 18, 17, 18? And this is when she was being courted by Amenza Wilder. Dolly Parton. Gotta love the country singers. If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one. Yeah. I think that maybe she meant a lot of things, but it strikes me of don't bitch and complain. My gosh, who likes to hear someone bitch and complain? If you don't like it, change it. Let's see. Hello, everyone coming in. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you all here. Welcome to Miss Smart Music. Show yourself if you want. If not, that's fine. Share your favorite quote and you may like, share, and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. Benjamin Franklin. Love him. We are all born ignorant, but one must work hard to remain stupid. Mm-hmm. And I know lots of people that work overtime. Yes, precious, they do. That road was a shadow of the truth anyway, says Stephen Ransom. Yes, I think I just got it. It just clicked. Ben Franklin's written. Everyone loves him. Mark Twain. History may not repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. Darn right. It's like poetry. It rhymes. How many times must humanity make the exact same mistake? Apparently a lot. That's why being a historian sucks. Being a historian means you can see the future. And you're sitting there, you're lecturing, you're writing, you're doing all this stuff, and no one listens. You can say, listen, this is where we're going. No, we're not. And then all of a sudden, why are things so bad? It's like, well, you didn't listen to your history. Pay attention to history. I think there's a similar quote like those that don't pay attention to history are doomed to repeat it. Orange Hat Reviews, a quote of mine that I created. A man's dance with his wife is not finished with the music. It finishes in the twilight of life. Aw, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I've got a few original ones in here too. Yeah, so please feel free to share your own favorite quotes. Like favorite quotes you might have made. Oh shoot, one of my favorite ones I forgot. I forgot to write. I'm a horrible person. I'll just say it. The only thing worse than being noted, I'm sorry. The only thing worse than being ignored is being noticed. That's one of my quotes. That's one of my quotes. Think about it. The only thing that's worse than being ignored is being noticed. Another one of my favorites is also from Lonesome Dove. Woodruff Call says, "You point a pistol at me, you'd better shoot." His motto, "I won't tolerate rude behavior." Albus Dumbledore. The happiest man in the world would look into the mirror and see only himself exactly as he is. And in this case, he's talking about the mirror of Erised, where it shows it shows yourself with your greatest desire. So, for example, Harry, he would always look in the mirror and see his parents with him and them being a family. He says the happiest person is the one who only sees himself exactly as he is. One could argue a little bit about just a normal mirror in real life as well. Perhaps, within reason. Fuke Norris is here. If you want If you want a friend, feed any animal. Aww. Harry Farrell of Jane's Addiction. Yeah. That works with real animals, but also other animals. Yeah. But are they really your friends? Hmm. Oh, this is one for speaking of Teresa of Avila, this is one from my girl, the great Teresa of Avila, the writer of The Interior Castle. This works whether you believe in God or not. You can take the first half and just leave it there, or take the second half, and that's fine as well. But the wisdom is here. Let nothing disturb let nothing disturb you. Let nothing dismay you. All things pass. That's I use that all the time. Often I can't convince myself of that, but that's a different story. And then the part about God never changes, except for some people who think if you're following some of the politics of the Church of England, you might think so, but we're not going there. But this is the other thing. Patience attains all that it strives for. Patience. That's probably one of the few smart things that Qui-Gon Jinn said. I have issues with him. He was always talking about patience until he was impatient. What's the rest? He who has God finds he lacks nothing. God alone suffices. All that's good, but especially let nothing disturb you, nothing dismay you. All things pass. Patience attains all that it strives for. Smart lady and kind of scary too. You had to kind of be assertive to do what she did. Another one from Harry Potter. It is our choices, Harry, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. Just because you're special, just because you're talented, just because this, guess what? You are a dime a dozen. That's another quote I like from Qui-Gon Jinn when he goes, "There's always a bigger fish." I always warn that about the talented people I work with. Never forget, there's always a bigger fish. I mean, unless you're like Pavarotti, you're not that special. It's our choices that show what we truly are more than our abilities. Meteor Advocate Tim, a good one. Timon, rather. A good one. Plans for today. Plan A, stay home. Plan B, not needed. Plan A will work. Nice. Stephen Ransom. The worst part of being popular is the inevitability of being forgotten. An expansion of your idea. Yep. And kind of my thing is also about being popular and being successful is not all it's cracked up to be. Also, it works in the workplace. Sometimes people are like, no, they never notice what I do, what I accomplish. It's like, would you rather that or to be micromanaged? Who's next? I don't know who did this one, but it's a good one. Never confuse being loved and needed with being used and wanted. Now, I have fallen for this I don't know how many times. I try. I'm being better. But yes, used and wanted. And you know how you can tell whether you're being loved and needed and being used and wanted? I'm not talking about romance here, because I've always been pretty darn clear about that. I always had that instinct in me to have a bullshit monitor where that's concerned. But being used and wanted. You're only used for what you want, and then once you've served your purpose, they cast you aside. Loved and needed with being used and wanted. And I'll tell you what, not saying anything about anyone in particular except for maybe a few people. The really, truly successful ones that we know They don't do that. They don't use people. They don't want people only when they can be used. They tend to be the ones that love and need, or at least are polite. Yeah, never confuse the two. And you can find out pretty quickly. It's usually like a bad TV movie. They don't hide it well. People that live by that, users. This is one of mine, but it kind of is totally ripped off from all the ideas of Tolkien, but I just put it together in one little thing because of a certain situation I was seeing. And this goes back to even your worst enemy, you cannot be cruel to. When you use the One Ring against your enemy, you don't defeat him, you become him. Again, I can't completely claim this one because obviously it's just piecemealed from loads of things in Lord of the Rings and some other quotes. But when you use the One Ring against your enemy, you don't defeat him, you become him. And that's something I live by as well. Stephen Ransom says, one of the merits of the astrological sign Capricorn is that very notion, the achievement of just being, not necessarily successful, but achieved. Okay. I don't know too much about Capricorn, or I know about Taurus because I'm a Taurus, but I'm not like into astrological stuff, so I don't know a lot about Capricorns. But that sounds pretty darn smart. Yes. Oh wait, this isn't Catholic thing, so I can say bad words, I guess. So I think I've seen this happen where people say, "Well, if that person's going to do this mean thing to me, I'm going to do the mean thing back," and you only find that it hurts you. Your soul starts to change, and you start to become mean. And I don't care what anyone says. No one likes a mean-spirited person. It may appear so, but often you will find people will use a mean-spirited person, but no one likes them, and people will dump them as fast as they can because they're mean. Along the same vein, you had me with your words, you lost me with your actions. Good evening, Miss Martin Music, says the Sentinel. Why, good evening. Good to see you. How are you doing? Yes. Words are meaningless. Show me your actions. And that's all I got to say about that. I'm an honest person, but you lie all the time. I'm a good person, but you're mean all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Or when you make promises and you don't keep them. The Sentinel. Do you believe a desire for revenge is its own one ring? A good one. Yes. Yes. The temptation could definitely work. But sometimes the desire for revenge is not always a bad thing. I have had a serious desire. You have no idea how hard I wanted to go on revenge on somebody. But just because I had that desire, that did not mean that I gave in to that desire. I gave away the secret in one of my Catholic splittings when I said when I really want to do something mean, I'll do a lot of nice things. So beware. If I'm suddenly nice to everyone, it probably means I was wanting to do something really mean. Do the opposite virtue. A desire for, yes, it's all because it all has to do with power, doesn't it? They want power. It's a way of having power over somebody. Someone has to get the last word all the time, or someone has to destroy somebody instead of just walking away. Revenge is a horrible, horrible thing. Vengeance or revenge. Yeah. Well, and that's another discussion for another time because sometimes, yes, there is such a thing as vengeance, which can be justifiable. Revenge never is. Ancient one, imagine what would happen if the Dark Lord was tricked into unforging the One Ring. That would be like in your own words. The way to trick him wouldn't be of conventional means either. Yeah. Well, thank goodness, Ancient One, that's not possible as far as I know. But that would be an interesting thought. Could he undo it? Probably, but because once the genie's out of the bottle, you couldn't. But yeah, could Sauron have ever come back? Well, there was a moment when he almost did. He almost did. It was told in the Akelabeth. But just his very nature couldn't hold. Too prideful. Enforcement instead of wrath. Yes, correct. Well, for example, you kill someone, you're going to jail. Justice. Maybe is that what is that where you're going with that? Justice is also a good thing. Sentinel. Oh wait, sorry, Stephen Ransom. Sentinel is saying to Stephen Ransom, I look at it as accountability. You can't do something beyond the pale to someone and not walk away scot free. Darn right. Yeah. And it has to do with the methods. Yeah. Calumny. That's a horrible thing. And again, I tell people this. Do they listen? No. But I'm telling you all, you can do that. But people see. And even if you do it against someone, like do it against a common enemy, it's always in the back of people's heads. If that's what that person is capable of, will they do that to me one day? The ends never justify the means. This is along the same vein. What others say about you says more about them than you. What you say about others says more about you than them. Think about that. Think about that. You never look good. You never look good when you try to ruin someone's reputation or even talk nasty about people behind their backs. You always look bad. Ancient One says, every artifact in most cases can be destroyed through unconventional means. That's true. I'm just not sure in world with Tolkien it could be. But that is a fascinating idea. That is a fascinating idea. Stephen Ransom says that intention is key, acting without malice. Yes. Because, yes, you could do vengeance, rather, justice, mete out justice, but with the wrong spirit. Yes, Sentinel. Everybody lies. Darn right. Everybody lies. Except me. Because I don't want to go to hell. And usually I can't even get to the lie because while I'm thinking about lying, the person's like, oh my gosh, you're thinking about lying. Because I don't have a poker face and I have a hesitation. But do I lie to myself? Yeah, I think I do sometimes. But yeah, in general, everybody lies. Damien says, is that why everyone calls me handsome all the time? The projection of ideas and the displacement of identity. I'm lying right now, says Roman of the Empire. How dare you, sir? Everyone lies. Cheer up, Damien. Yeah. Nah. There is something about handsome being in the eyes of the beholder. Ugly behavior is always ugly. There was some advice that my father gave me once. and it was more about workplace situations. He said, when you complain about someone else or speak badly of someone else, he was talking about a coworker. He said, even if you are correct, you're going to be the one that always looks bad. And as a boss, he was a boss. He would make note of that. So this person's very willing to throw their coworker under the bus. Maybe not someone I should put my trust in. Hill says, by the time end, I'll probably burn in purgatory for 30,000 years for my sins. Well, we don't. Well, dang it, I'm going to sound like such a snob. I know what you mean. I know what you mean about purgatory, but you burn in hell for your sins. In purgatory, what is it? C.S. Lewis called purgatory. That's the mouthwash. I'm like, thank you, C.S. Lewis. By the wait, we got purgatory. LOL, hello, howdy. It is, and it is, isn't it? I think I don't know what that's referring to, but yeah, ancient one. Because one thing is for certain, the One Ring did set the standards on how artifacts in D&D should be created and how they can be destroyed through special means. Oh, good point. Good point. Yes, Tolkien definitely is the father in many ways of everything with fantasy. What was it that Shippy said? I had that in my video, that Tolkien may not have been the first person to have written high fantasy, but he was the first one to really show us what could be done with it and set a standard for the rest. Miss Martin runs a great tube church. Yeah, it was called Catholic Splaining. Oh, yeah, I guess this is my sermon. Yeah. Yeah. Gee. Okay, not burning in hell, but at least deep fried. LOL. Yeah, I just I know it's splitting hairs because I know what you meant, but sometimes people think purgatory is a second chance, so you don't have to repent. It's like, nope, not the way it works. Voltaire. Well, I think we all know this one, and unfortunately, this is the one most ignored nowadays. I do not agree with what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. This used to be the standard, at least of free speech, at least here in America, till not too long ago. My goodness. And, a lot of French philosophy, a lot of those folks, it did inspire our founding fathers. Roman of the Empire. I'm burning right now. It's 100 degrees in the studio of the Empire. Surely for past sins. Yes. I think it's about 100 where I am too. Heck, we're all probably living in the same state and we don't even know it. Yes, says Stephen Ransom. Yeah. Yeah, we have a different world we're living in right now. I do not agree with what you have to say, but I'll destroy you because you said it. That's what we live in today. All right, what's next? Being a person of integrity doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic. Hey, Stephen Ransom, he likes Voltaire. Don't we all? Yes. Meteor Advocate Timon, my life is like a huge math problem that I got wrong because of a sign. Oh, dear. Oh, wait for it. I got a Robin Hood quote coming up for you, Timon. Hold on to that thought. Ancient when someone wears both the One Ring and the New Ring simultaneously at the exact same time, causing both artifacts to be rendered as priceless jewelry. Yes, they would cancel each other out. Or sincere. Being a person of integrity doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic or sincere. Yeah. That's the quote I was thinking of. It's coming up. Progress, not perfection. Nobody is perfect. And anyone who says they're perfect are liars. You know how you can tell someone that is prideful and all that? They'll never apologize. I don't always get too upset by what someone does if they apologize, especially if it's something that's done in anger or spontaneous. Everyone has a bad day. But how do they react after the bad day? That shows their authenticity and their character. Meteor Advocate Simone. There is no better day than today to leave for tomorrow what you will never do. Yeah, Ancient One is completely destroying the the legendarium and the mythos and all that of Tolkien, and he is, well, you've just made his purgatory. Saint Francis of Assisi. All the darkness in the world cannot extinguish the light of a single candle. It's true. They cannot control the light within you. Now, you can surrender the light within you, but the darkness of the world cannot extinguish it. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. To quote from John's Gospel. I am rooming with a guy that has never apologized in my presence or said thank you, says Stephen Ransom. Oh, what a nightmare. Well, that can work if you're rooming with the person, because sometimes I think roommates work better when they're not friends. It makes me very sad. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. When you can tell who the jerk is in a group is when everyone apologizes but that one person. It's like, I have nothing to apologize for. Usually, actually, if someone says that, that usually means they do have something to apologize for, with very few exceptions. All right, we know he's a jerk, but he does have some good things to say every now and then. Stephen King, we make up horrors to help us cope with the real ones. Mm-hmm. Yes, precious. Meteor Advocate Timon, if I hit someone with a dictionary, is it physical or verbal assault? Nice. Very, very nice. I like it. Yeah, that's why horror and fantasy, it all has its place. And anyone that thinks it's escapism is ignorant. Everyone loves Oscar Wilde, at least I do. A mask tells us more than a face. Dun, dun, dun. Hell yes. A mask tells us more than a face. Dorothy Day. She was a great gal, too. The greatest challenge of the day is how to bring about a revolution of the heart. A revolution which has to start with each one of us. Revolution, human revolutions. Like, look at the French Revolution, for example. What did that do? Absolutely nothing. It just murdered hundreds of thousands of people. And then we got Napoleon, and then we got all that other stuff, right? American Revolution. I would argue, in a weird way, there were bad things that happened in our revolution. It actually bore fruit because it really was a revolution of the heart. That what the founding fathers accomplished, like in the Declaration of Independence and then later in the Constitution, I believe personally was nothing short of miraculous. But you've got to change hearts. And it has to start with you. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. Oh no, etymology is hard covered. LOL, says Steven and Simone. Everyone's a comedian. Here's a positive one, says Timon. Be the person your dog thinks you are. Yes, I don't have a dog, but my sister's family does. That dog just worships everybody. And I don't know why. Even me, it's like, oh my gosh, that person is here. And he runs around, goes crazy. All right. Riker7076 says, what if I use an ugly mask? See my avatar, Bane in the Mad Max world. Well, let's look at the quote. I forget it. A mask tells us more than a face. Well, the mask tells us something, right? And of course, what are you saying with it? I mean, we all use avatars. Look at me. This is my mask, the rose, with the darkness and all that. But the light overcomes the darkness, the light from the rose, all that kind of stuff. Along a similar vein of earlier ones, Evelyn Waugh, good guy. He wrote what he was so great, I forget what he wrote. Brideshead Revisited. Oh my gosh, a masterpiece. A masterpiece, I tell you. Your actions, and your actions alone, determines your worth. Along the same veins of look at what people do, not what they say. You shall know them by your deeds. No, you shall know them by their deeds. Ancient One, it's not a mask. Your face is Rosette. You're right. You caught me. Oh, dear. This is what I said earlier. Strive for progress, not perfection. Because you're not going to be perfect. But are you progressing? Are you going from point A to point B? That's what you look for. Stephen Ransom says, my avatar is of a Buddhist hero that always turns the other cheek. Vash the Stampede. Is that why he has a Band-Aid on? Or is that just a marking, a drawing thing? I can't tell. I don't have my reading glasses on. It's kind of small. Don't know who said this? Nothing in life is permanent. Nothing in life is permanent. Be humble. Especially success. Pride cometh before a fall. Oh, Stephen says, yep. Okay, I was correct without my reading glasses. I love Agatha Christie. Agatha Christie says, most successes are unhappy. That's why they are successes. They have to reassure themselves about themselves by achieving something that the world will notice. Isn't that food for thought? Most successes are unhappy, and that's why they're successes. They have to reassure themselves about themselves by achieving something the world will notice. And she would know, being the best-selling mystery author of all time. Accolades like you wouldn't believe it. Yeah, because successes, quote unquote, successes are things the world notice. So they're unhappy about reassuring yourself. If you're happy with yourself, you don't need the world to notice. Timon says, it's very sad when you're rich, handsome, and sensual, and then the alarm clock comes and it all ends. And yes, Agatha. We love Agatha Christie. Yeah. That's why success is very overrated. Promise me. I promise you, it's overrated. I achieved everything I wanted to achieve in my life. The success that I got, by 24? Everything I ever wanted to achieve, I got and more. I couldn't climb any higher than where I was. And it was no big deal. You just learn, it's really not that important. It's overrated. Yeah, people love meteor. We love meteor advocate Timon here at Miss Martin Muses. Uh-huh. Oh wait, I already. Oh, I like this one so much I double used it. Charles Dickens. Gotta love him. There are dark shadows on the earth, but its lights are stronger in the contrast. Mm-hmm. Good one. Thank you, Mr. Dickens. And this is from Les Miserables. They used this line in the musical at the end, but this is Victor Hugo. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. It's true until the world ends, but we're not worried about that right now. All this will pass. Let's see. Oh, gotta go. Thank you for being here, Stephen Ransom. Always great to see you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, everyone's saying goodbye. Thank you. There is no such thing as freedom of choice unless there is freedom to refuse. We might have experienced a little bit of that over the past few years. I would say you're not free unless you can refuse. There is no such thing as freedom of choice unless there is freedom to refuse. And that was also something that I have always been trying to tell people, and I used to write my representatives when I thought they actually cared what I thought about choice, in the sense that a lot of people use it, where they were not allowing people to abstain. This was during the Obama administration. And I went, how is that freedom of choice if you are forcing me to participate in something that is thoroughly against my conscience? That's not freedom of choice. That's coercion. That's tyranny. You have to be able to refuse. Timon, I was looking for the bright side of life and came to the conclusion that life is a sphere. Yes, our resident pessimist. That's a good one. Yeah, I like these. Oh, wait, dang it. I've double used a lot of these. Oh, this comes from Gandhi. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Yep. You have to be able to make mistakes. This goes down to why you could and should accept a person's apology. People make mistakes. Robert Jordan, the guy who wrote The Wheel of Time and the Conan books, a lot of the Conan books I like to read. Obviously, not the original Conan creator. You don't drown by falling in the water. You drown by staying there. Mm-hmm. And remember, some of these are not absolute, because, yeah, you might fall in the water and there's a current and all that. But yeah, think about it. You don't drown by falling in water. You drown by staying there. I'm not sure if that's from one of the books or not. I have not read The Wheel of Time yet. I am planning on it. There's my man. Here's my man, Robin Hood. Robin Hood, as he was portrayed in the TV show Once Upon a Time, a fantastic character. He says, we all get a second chance. You just have to open your eyes to see it. We all get a second chance. You just have to open your eyes to see it. Tell me about it, Robin Hood. I love you, man. I love Robin Hood. I love this Robin Hood, this version of Robin Hood. Sean McGuire. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. He's a good guy. Sylvester Stallone. Life is not about how hard you can hit, but how much you can hit and still. Sorry. Life is not about how hard you can hit, but how much you can get hit and still keep moving forward. That might have been him as Rocky, I think. Is that from Creed? Meteor Advocate Timon. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep sleeping. Nice. 2 thumbs up. Another one from Agatha Christie. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. So actually, Timon, Agatha Christie disagrees with you. Sorry about that. Okay. Be careful. Be careful the bridges you're willing to burn when trying to get ahead. You never know when you'll need a friend again. Be careful the bridges you're willing to burn when trying to get ahead. You never know when you'll need a friend again. This is a quote I like because it reminds me of what my father always told me. Never burn a bridge. Never burn a bridge. There's always an exception, like where you really have to. I've had to have a situation like that, but recently. But in general, never burn a bridge. This especially works with your colleagues. If you don't burn a bridge. I'll just let that speak for itself. Everyone loves this one. It says Braun. This is from the TV show, not from the book, but that's okay, from Game of Thrones. There is no cure for being a... And everyone knows. It starts with a C. Isn't that true? There is no cure. Once you have crossed the line into the C territory, there is no cure. It's kind of like narcissism or sociopathy. It takes a miracle, an act of God, to get away from that. No cure for being a blank. Leo Tolstoy. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. Think about that one. People generally quarrel. I cannot talk. It's been an hour. People generally quarrel because they cannot argue. G.K. Chesterton. People quarrel because they can't argue. True. True. And true. Another J.R.R. Tolkien. You have to understand the good in things to detect the real evil. I was told this by a professor that people that detect counterfeit money, they do so by spending all their time touching and feeling and looking and doing all sorts of stuff with real money so that they can recognize the fake. They can recognize the bad. So you have to know good. You have to understand the good to detect real evil. Timon says, if you're one of those unlucky people, when you see the light at the end of when you see the light at the end of the tunnel, run. It's a train. Mauricio Mata. Oh dear. I think I've heard that one before. Yeah, I remind me, Timon. How do I say this? I don't know how to say this. It's positive. It's all positive about you. Your pessimism is inspiring. Does that make sense? I don't know if that's how you would see it, because we've all been through some really rotten few years, and the cynicism that we've earned has been earned. C.S. Lewis. Everyone says forgiveness is a lovely idea until they have something to forgive. Yep. Or forgiveness is a lovely idea when you want someone else to forgive you. But when someone says that you need to forgive them, yeah, suddenly people aren't so eager, are they? It's a lovely idea until you have something to forgive. Forgiving is one of the hardest things to do. And it's very difficult when the person refuses to apologize. There does need to be a point where you have to metaphorically forgive the person for your own peace of mind. But a person that won't apologize when they've done something horrible, I'm done with them. I'm done with them on this side of the world. I know through the grace of Jesus and all that kind of stuff, maybe in heaven, we'll get along again. But that's for Jesus to deal with, not me. I love her. It's martyr. She's a martyr. Saint Teresa Benedicta of the Cross. This is her before she entered the convent. Her human name, or her name before religious, was Edith Stein. I'll get to your quote in a second there, Timon. She died at Auschwitz during the Holocaust. She and her sister died in the gas chambers of Auschwitz. Here's what she had to say. Do not accept anything as the truth if it lacks love. And do not accept anything as love which lacks truth. Boom. I so want her to be a doctor of the church. I've been petitioning. She probably will be. Do not accept anything as love which lacks truth. And do not accept anything as truth if it lacks love. Meteor Advocate Timon says, life is like Pilates. If it's easy, you're doing it wrong. Darn right. And as a gal, I've been doing Pilates. I can testify to that. But I'll tell you what, it does miracles for like your body and your shape and you get all limber and you kind of start to get a ballet body thing going on. It's really nice. Though I don't know if dudes want a ballet body, but it's nice. And balance and cool stuff. Biggles. Hello, it's Biggles. We love Biggles here at Miss Martin Muses. One of Biggles' favorite quotes. Set your heart ablaze. Overcome your limits. I am the flame Hashira. I can't pronounce it. Okay. That's a good one. Is that from one of your anime things? I'm going to sound really ignorant because I am. And, Timon saying hello. Yes, sir. Don't know who said this, but it's a good one. Don't base your decisions on the advice of those who don't have to deal with the results. Don't base your decisions on the advice of those who don't have to deal with the results. Biggle says, Demon Slayer Mugen Train right before Rengoku sacrifices himself. It's the most epic moment. Oh, well, there you are. Yeah, greater love hath no man than this, that he lays down his life for his friends. How they treat you defines them. How you treat others defines you. How they treat you defines them. How you treat others defines you. Oh, you cried. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong with crying. I would have cried too. I cry all the time. This one is one of mine. Obviously taken from an amalgamation of lots of things. I'm not going to presume to say I have an original thing that no one's ever thought of. The most accurate way to judge people's characters is to observe how they treat someone they don't like. Observe how they treat someone they don't like. That's how you can tell their true character. Because everyone's nice to people they like. How do they treat people they don't? That's how you judge. Oh, wimp. I think it's great that Biggles is not ashamed of crying. Timon says, your secrets are safe with me. I wasn't even listening. That sounds like something you know who would say. Oh, dear. It's okay to be angry. It's never okay to be cruel. That's one I like. It's okay to be angry. It's never, did you hear me? Never okay to be cruel. But what if never? Yay, Tolkien! I found it is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. Ah. Though he's probably ripping that off from the Little Flower. Because she was a saint by this time. But that's okay. In the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. G.K. Chesterton. A dead thing can go with the stream, but only a living thing can go against it. Follow the crowd. A dead thing can go with the stream. Only a living can go against it. Dang it, I have a lot of quotes. I'm crazy. Evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it's staring right at us and we don't even realize it. Evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it's staring right at us and we don't even realize it. This one, if humanity would live by this, especially on social media. You don't have to you don't have to attend every argument you are invited to. Are you listening? You don't have to attend every argument you are invited to. Darn right you don't. Actually, if you attend the argument you've invited to, you've just handed victory over to your opponent. Unless you're having a formal debate. That's a different story. Don't attend. Don't give them that power. C.S. Lewis again. You can't go back to and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Oh my gosh, you can't go back to, oh, you can start where you are and change the ending. What a guy. Robert E. Howard, the creator of Conan. I mentioned him earlier because I love him. The more I see of what you call civilization, the more highly I think of what you call savagery. Hmm. Let's put this in context. This was written back in the late 1920s and 1930s. Nowadays, maybe he would have a different attitude, but in the context of where he lived, when he lived. Timon says, common sense is like deodorant. The people who need it most never use it. Uh-huh. Yes, sir. Arguing over nothing is fun, says Biggles. Well, okay, yes, arguing over nothing is fun. Well, actually, I think it's a nightmare. I hate it. But the key word is you're arguing over nothing. Trivial things, sure, why not? But serious arguments, no. Actually, it's best you don't attend that argument because the other person is probably not arguing in good faith. Another Harry Potter quote. It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. I like this one. Actually, I like all of these. That's why I'm sharing them. You can do anything, but not everything. I like that one, Timon, about the deodorant. Let me get this one from Timon. If I agreed with you, we'd both be wrong. That's one that makes you think. Always be a first-rate version of yourself instead of a second-rate version of somebody else. Thank you, Judy Garland. Oh, I've already used that one. You can tell the ones I really liked. I used them twice. Characterize people by their actions, and you'll never be fooled by their words. Yeah, I think we've seen several versions of that quote. Oh, this is one of mine. I came up with recently. There were several situations that made me think of it, but this was also the same day that I was thinking about Prince Harry making an Egypt of himself on the stand, but it's appropriate to a lot of situations I've been dealing with lately. The best way to get revenge on someone is to step away and let them be themselves. Remember when I said revenge is bad? This kind of revenge isn't bad. Because if you really want to punish someone, just let them be themselves. They're going to punish themselves. As I said, no one likes a jerk. Timon, I never make the same mistake twice. I make it like 5 times just to make sure it's wrong. That applies to me. This is a similar one I came up with. There is no greater punishment. I can't talk. There is no greater punishment than allowing people to get what they want. Luffy is here. Veni Vidi Vici. I pronounce it with the ecclesiastical pronunciation. I guess the classical is Weni Witty Witchy, but it's a good quote. Man, you're up early or late? Let me see. Yeah, early. This is one of mine, but I'm sure it's ripped off from something else. A person who lies about others will also lie about you. Hmm. The best revenge is no revenge. Just forget they exist. Mhm. Yeah, that's heaping hot coals on their heads. Then again, you all are crazy. Well, not you. It's not your fault. Your latitude is crazy because you all have all that bright sunlight right now, like all night. I experienced it in Iceland and I couldn't sleep. It was like someone just jolted me with caffeine 24/7. It was insane. But not 7. I only stayed 2 days. That 24-hour sun killed me. If you lie or are cruel to make a point, even if you're right, you are wrong always. And you're wrong because you lied or you were cruel. Never okay. Is that it? Oh, this one is mine. This one is definitely mine. I'm not sure I've heard anyone else say it. People will forgive you for being wrong, but they will never forgive you for being right. True? Yes. Oh, and Luffy says, yes, sun's up all the time now. Mhm. This is also one of mine. An imprudent man is the most dangerous man you know. And I stand by this. It's hard nowadays because it used to be when in my thinking and in my stuff, when you say man, you mean all of humanity. And these quotes tend to work better when you use man and not like an imprudent person is the most dangerous person, you know. It just doesn't have the same kick. But if you want to say person, yeah, but think about it. Someone that's mean, someone that's a certain way, you know what I mean? Are they really that dangerous? But someone that doesn't have prudence, someone that doesn't control themselves and when and how they say things, that's dangerous. For one thing, they'll usually spill secrets or they'll make things worse. Because remember, prudence is knowing when and how to speak the truth. Sometimes people mistake that with that it's good to speak the truth. It's like, yes, it is great to speak the truth, but you have to do it with prudence. You don't do it with prudence, you're nothing but a wrecking ball. So an imprudent man is the most dangerous man you know. Timon, I hate people who can't make fun of themselves. That means more work for me. Yeah. Liffy says, it's dangerous if you have anything to hide. Yeah. Well, yes, it can be, but also they'll stir up fights that don't need to be stirred up. They'll hurt when people don't need to be hurt. And they hide themselves under the cloak of, well, I was just speaking the truth. Mhm. No, pride is behind that. And people won't like you, or at least they won't wanna be around you. Oh, here's some notes from author of the century. So we are done with my quotes. We're ending with this one. An imprudent man. Biggle says, "It is impossible to make fun of me since I am awesome." Is that what we would call pride, or would that be hubris? But actually, your attitude, Biggles, is more healthy than you probably know. You can only really let someone hurt you if you allow them to. Within reason, of course. But if you're confident in who you are, what does it matter if someone makes fun of you? Livy's got, I do honesty all the time, makes things easy. Well, there's honesty. Okay. You all in Scandinavia are of a different breed, okay? Because you all have an honesty that I would argue is prudent. I'm thinking more of the stupid other kind of honesty. Though it takes a while to get used to once you but yes. But even then, I would argue that your kind of honesty is still used in prudence. Biggles says, no, that is called being awesome. Okay, you are awesome, Biggles. Okay, you are awesome. You are completely awesome. Meteor Advocate Timon says, here's a motivational one. Never go to bed angry, stay awake and plan revenge. You didn't listen to a word I said. I know, that's funny, though. That's funny. Well, those are the end of my quotes. And this will be the end of the stream because my voice, dear me. Oh, I know. Thank you. See, there you go, Biggles. Yeah, I've got to mind my voice because I've been doing a lot of streaming lately, and my voice is my life. So I need to rest it. And didn't have a partner tonight, which is fine. I've had you find people in the chat. That's the thing about all you people that live in the future. You go to bed. You need to knock that off. You need to, turn into vampires or something. But I want to thank everyone for being here, going through these quotes with me. Maybe some food for thought, maybe some inspiration. And those of you that are listening in the replay, please let me know in the comments. We had Biggles, we had Timon, we have Luffy is God, we had Salty Texas, Salty Traveling Sea, we had Stephen Ransom, Ancient One, Riker 7076. Let's see who else. I think the Roman of the Empire, the Sentinel. Corey popped in a little bit. So did Fook Norris, Vermont Cheese, Damian Gershwin. Orange Hat Reviews was here. Yes, thank you very much. And Shane Nolan, but he is from the future and he went to bed because that is common sense. Potato Reverend as well. If I missed anyone, it's not intentional. The chat jumps and does all sorts of wild stuff. Charlie Stevenson. Hello. Thank you very much. And Blue Ridge Bear, all is well that ends well. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Yes, everyone is showing themselves. So good to see you. I am in the past and I go to bed super early, says Biggles. You are correct. And that's probably a good thing. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Good night, everybody. Have a great evening, everyone. Have a great evening. And be certain to find things in your life that make it better and not worse. And no revenge. We do not advocate revenge at all. Good night. Thank you for being here.